super excited to make this video. I had someone reach out to me and ask me, hey, Ryan, what's the sponsor look for? So we wanted to make a video for you so you understand what sponsors specifically are looking for. It takes me back to our first deal. Man, I'm not gonna lie, we were nervous as hell. Were we prepared? Yeah. But it's such a surreal moment. We had great relationships with brokers. You underwrote the deal. The deal worked, and then what? It's that then that gets most of us. Or it can. Luckily we had, some mentors we could go to and talk to. Imagine though, if you'd gone through this process, you dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and then Lenny Broker asked you, who your sponsor was. What are you going to do at this time? Do you scramble to find one? I guess you could, right? If this happens though, a sponsor might think you're desperate. Coming from a place of weakness, it just never was a good plan. Many of you know this quote I gave, at the event. Les Brown said, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. What a great statement. He knew exactly what it meant to be prepared. So let's just jump in, into what is a sponsor expecting? What do they want? It's intimidating first, if it's your first deal you've ever done, needing a sponsor to do a deal. Think about it. These sponsors have been in the game a long time. They have experience. They have the net worth. They have a liquidity. These guys know what they want. They want to know that you're prepared as well. So doing the first deal, the question should be, what do you need to do to prepare or to be prepared for the sponsor, and what are they looking for? So let's spend the next little bit going over what exactly you need. So the first thing we need to focus on is, have we prepared ourselves before going to the sponsor? So many people, put the cart before the horse. They go right into the sponsor and expect the sponsor to figure it out. Well, so, what are some of those things the sponsor is going to ask you? These are things that we ask, Tyler and myself. What's your experience? Do you have professional or real estate experience? Sell yourself here. Tyler's always talking about who has a stronger frame. Even if you don't have professional or real estate experience, that's okay. Tell yourself what you're good at. Have you been trained on how to look at it? Have you read through the offering memorandum? Have you underwritten the deal? How many times have you underwritten the deal? I underwrite my deals 3, 4, 5 times sometimes. Have we had a mentor or multifamily mindset look at the deal? You've got us there to help you out. Have we considered all the value add opportunities to execute our returns on this property? What are the current rents at? What are market rents at? How much below market rents are you? What are some of the things that we don't like about this property? We always ask a broker that. So why do you think a sponsor may not ask you that? How many units are we going to upgrade? What do the upgrades need? How much increase in the rent can you get with these upgrades? What our capital improvement budget look like? What's going into it? What are our rent collections like? Are there a lot of delinquencies during COVID time? Guess what? There's a lot. This is a common question amongst lending brokers and sponsors. Have you done your research, your proper research to know these questions? What do you need help on the deal with? Do you need them just to sign on the loan, raise capital, earnest money deposit, help with due diligence, help with asset management? And finally, are you going to be signing on the loan? That's important to me. It's who's making the decisions. We want you to sign on the loan. I guess my question, does this seem like a lot? And I hope not. You may wonder why we're telling you this. Why doesn't a sponsor just grab this deal, take a look at it, think the numbers are good, and then do the deal? It's a simple thing. The sponsor's going to be on this deal with you 3 to 5 years. They're putting their name on it. They want to know, are you qualified? Have you gone through the proper steps? Have you had it qualified from us first? So let's take a moment about what the sponsor might think if you're not prepared. Have you ever seen the show Shark Tank? It's one of my favorite shows. Mark Cuban, Mr. Wonderful, all those guys. These sharks are, they're investors. They look at each individual and they're going to decide how much capital or how much time that they're going to have to put into each project. So depending on the time or resources they have to put into it, it's going to determine the percent of ownership. So many times on it, you may think it's fair or not fair, but they may ask for 30, 40, 50, 60%, depending on what they have to do. The same case, applies to this with a sponsor. If they feel that they're going to have to put a lot of time into this, a lot of their resources or investor resources, they may ask for a large percentage. It could be the best underwritten deal ever, but if the sponsor thinks that, man, no, they're going to come for a higher percentage each time. We've experienced people come to us as sponsors and asking us, and it amazes me every single time, not every time, but quite a few times, how many individuals would come and say, hey, Ryan, Tyler, do you want to sponsor these deals? And most of the time they give us the offering memorandum, partial underwriting, and these are some of the questions that I may ask. What's the annual rate of return? What's the ARR? What is the total return on the property? These are not only important to us, right? But they're important to our investors that we bring in as well. So, remember, we're all going to be in this deal together. The important thing to remember, 3 to 5 years could be a long time. If we just don't take the time to go through and get the correct responses, what does it say to the sponsor about how prepared we will be, during this process of managing the asset? We have other properties we're managing as well. If we have to spend all of our time doing it, that could be a problem. This reminds me of a quote that Benjamin Franklin said. Said, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." The key to having success with a sponsor is taking the time to prepare yourself now, prior to presenting the opportunity. A lot of us at Sponsor Deals, we're super excited, and we look forward to sponsoring deals for many reasons. Obviously we get a return on that. We get to help other people get into this market, into this industry, and what a great feeling. How much it's changed our life. If we didn't have a sponsor, man, it'd be tough. And so we just want to make sure that you're prepared.